Hello and welcome to Treasure in Every Verse. I'm your host, author and Bible teacher, Kevin Madison. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, friends, we're back and we're going to get right back into where we were yesterday. But I want to start right here, friends. I want to start here in Hebrews chapter 11. Why? Because I want to point something out to you. I want you to clearly see how people read into the scriptures what they already believe in their mind. Things that people say that isn't in the book, but when they read it, that's what they see. All right, let's go. Now, we had already talked about Abraham, so I'm not going to dive back into that. We already talked about Paul, so I'm not going to dive back into that. But you're going to see something about Abraham and others right here in chapter 11. Watch this. Now, faith. What are we talking about? Faith. The question is, whose faith? That's what you have to clear up right now. Because if you're not clear on that, the rest of this, whatever you're thinking, that faith is, that's how you're going to read into the remainder of the scriptures. Now, after 4 or 5 lessons on this, whose faith do you think he's talking about? Do you really believe he's talking about yours? Or, as we've seen almost everywhere, he's talking about the faith. Which one? We've seen that there's only one, friends. There's only one faith. One faith, one baptism, one hope, one Lord, one body. All of them are talking about God. Do you really believe in that list of 7 items that only the faith is that's an exception? That everything else belongs to God and the faith in that one verse belong to you? No, friend. So whose faith you think he's talking about right here? Let's keep reading. He's going to explain it himself. Listen to this. Now, the faith of our Lord Jesus. Now I'm going to help you to prove to you, just right off the cuff. I'm going to jump ahead. Let me see where it's at. It's in the book of James. Watch this. James chapter 2. All right, so let me help you see that I am not making this up. We're going to get to that too, but when we get to it, I'm going to do a little explanation on it. But I'm going to show you right quick. James understood it. I don't know why people run to James to figure that James is saying something different. No, he's not. James is talking about 2 different types of faith. How do I know that? Because when you come here, where is it? I thought it was in verse 9. Oh, right here, verse 1. Watch this, folks. Listen to James. Because most people, when they read James, the first thing they say, it's their faith James is talking about. No, friend, James is talking about 2 different types of faith. How do I know that? Because he tells me, and he tells you the exact same thing. But you know what happened? People read into it whatever they are already thinking. Now watch. Listen carefully to James. Now this is doing with Hebrews, chapter 11. My brethren. So who is he talking to? He's talking to people who are already born again believers. Okay? Now, James is also writing to the church at Jerusalem. So he's also talking to Jews, but believing Jews. What did he say? Do not, don't do this. Don't hold something. What is every single believer holding? James, do not hold what, James? The faith. Did he say do not hold your faith? No, man, because you're not holding on to your faith. Your faith for salvation is useless. James says, don't you hold the faith. That one faith that is necessary. Which one is that? Of our Lord Jesus Christ. So whose faith James is talking about? Is James talking about your faith? Get out of here. That's not what it says. Don't you dare hold the faith. The same thing we seen in the Old Testament. The same thing we seen in all Paul's letters. The same thing we seen in John's letters. The same thing we seen in Peter's letters. They all talk about the same thing. What? The faith. And whose faith is that? It's of our. Just James? No. It better be yours too. Because if it's not yours, you're not included in this hour. You have a different faith. And it's not of the Lord Jesus Christ. The hour refers right back here to the brethren. And every single one of us have it. Folks, if you don't have the faith, you're on your way to hell. And I don't care how much of your faith you possess, there's nothing going to stop you. You and your faith are going to get cast into the lake of fire. Brethren, do not hold the faith of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord of glory, with partiality. God's faith doesn't have partiality. Yours might. And it does. You exhibit it every single day. Why in the world would he tell them not to do it if they weren't doing it? They were doing it, friends. That's the works. What is he correcting? Is he correcting God's faith, the faith of the Lord? No. The faith of the Lord never shows partiality. He's no respecter of persons. But you are. I am. And what did he tell us? Hey, fix it. Correct your faith so that it will be in alignment with God's faith that you hold on to. How do I do that? You read the book. He said, don't put up somebody who you think is wealthy, put them in the front and put the poor in the back. Don't welcome the rich and then brush off the poor. That's what they were doing. They were holding their own faith in partiality, which reflected because they were holding God's faith on God. And James say, cut it out. Stop it. God put you there for good works. Showing partiality is not good works. So you see the difference here? You think James is telling them that God's fate is doing that? No, man. It's their fate that's doing that. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there because that's